Hello everyone, welcome back to the homestead. We are showing you here, they're actually taking down a tree, but we hired out some electricians to come and install our electrical pole. Now while they were waiting on the pole to arrive, they wanted to go ahead and cut this tree down because it was originally in the way of where our pole was going. But as you will see in the video, we actually moved it, so there was no need for them to cut the tree down at the time, but we did change our minds and move the pole. So here the pole has arrived. They had to wait a couple hours for it to arrive because it didn't get delivered when it was supposed to, which was fine. And they called, got the pole delivered, and it come on this flatbed truck. So they are using the mini excavator that they brought with them to dig the hole for the pole, and they're going to use it to help get the pole out there. So they're just rolling it up onto the bucket and they are going to strap it down. I want to give a big thank you and appreciation to the guys with Hillers. They were awesome. They are always great guys, and we love having them come out to the house and do our projects so we can't do ourselves. So if you're in the local area, these guys are the best. So this is where they are taking the pole out there. They're actually going to set it up off to the side. We put some center blocks down so it wouldn't roll down the hill, and they are going to go ahead and dig the hole. Now I did not get the footage of them actually digging the hole, just because the guy in the white shirt there is kind of training, and the guy in the navy right there, you see, he was kind of directing him on how to dig the hole, which turned out perfectly. You'll see here in a second. And he's directing him there on how to set that pole up. But I did not get footage of him actually digging that hole that they're putting the pole in that you see there, just because I wanted to kind of stay out of their way, let them do their thing, and let him, have his teaching moment, because that's what we're all about here on Boots and Bounty Homestead. So they're getting the pole set, and they're actually going to use that Mini X bucket arm there to hold the pole still while they get it situated in the position they want it to be in. And I thought this was a cool idea here. They screwed those 2x4s on there, and they're actually turning the pole because there ended up being a bad, like a ugly cosmetic spot on the hole, that they actually turned it to the back side so where nobody will see it. So there's that beautiful hole he dug, and they've got to do some final touches on getting it situated into the position they want it. And those will be the braces while it sets up. And as you see, it was raining that day. It was a muddy mess. Bless them. So they're going to finish getting that set up where it needs to be. And then they actually made a form out of those plywood pieces there and poured a little bit of concrete in there. Our state doesn't require you to pour concrete anymore, but they brought it. We went ahead and did it just to be on the safe side and to make sure it was more secure. So they used that Mini X to go ahead and backfill that hole and get all that dirt put back, and they did mound it up, as you'll see shortly, because it will settle into the hole, which it has. So this right here is one of the ground rods that has to go 8 feet into the ground per our regulations here in Tennessee. And so you're going to see little funnies here as the guys were trying to get tall enough to be able to reach it. Now you can't push the button. And like I said, the guy in the white, he's still training, so it was pretty funny watching them kind of work out how to do some of this stuff. But that is a hammer drill. So that 8-foot rod went all the way down in the ground, and they actually put it below grass level so our lawnmower would not hit it. So now on the pole, he's actually making the boxes level to get ready for the meter. Here's where they are installing a bolt that is going to hold the weatherhead pole and wires at the top, and you'll see that in a second. You may also notice that the pole is slightly tilted to one side, and that's because of the tension of the wires coming from the pole. They have to lean it the opposite way just because of that long-term pull from the wires. So he got that drilled all the way through, got the bolt on, and he's trying to figure out to leave it up or sideways to hook it up. Then he's going to get the back side of it attached. So this is the pole, and of course I'm not sure of all these technical terms, but this is the pole that is going to run the wires from that box they installed up to the weatherhead, and from the weatherhead over to the main electrical pole. So they've got to set this pole and screw it into the box, and then run the wires up the pole to the top of the weatherhead. Here he's got the wire that is going to be ran up that pole. Pretty stiff wire. He was having to fight it a little bit. You wouldn't believe that that wire was actually that tough. But they've got the weatherhead up there. You will see, well, a part of it, not the whole thing, but you will see where the wires come out up there, and that is what goes to the main pole once the electrical company comes and hooks their portion up. But here you will see them install two, it's actually going to be 3 wires, but 2 black ones, and then they are going to mark another one with some white tape that you will see here in a second, and that will be the 3rd wire. And that's all for the hot wires, the ground wires, neutral wires, all that good stuff. So cutting it to length here from the box to be able to install it. Got to strip the end of it to be able to hook it into the spots it needs to go in inside that box. And I didn't get too close, kind of letting them do their own thing, do their job. They know what they're doing, so I just wanted to give you a quick run by on how and what all goes into getting a new pole. Here's that white tape I was talking about. They're actually putting it around one of the portions of the black wire, so they'll be able to distinguish the 3 different wires, 2 black and 1 white. So he's got to run this one all the way up the pole to the very tippy top, just like the other one.
What? That's good. Make the mark.
So here you see him starting to install those wires into the correct positions inside that box. And that is wire number 3 going all the way up to the top.
Right there. Yep. Oh, dang.
Now you see him placing the rest of the weatherhead up there and putting the straps on to hold the pole in place.
Tree hugger.
You look like a monkey.
And then drop it.
So So here you can really see where that pole is actually crooked because the silver pole is straight, and that's again because of the pull. So working on the bottom now, getting all of that hooked up. They are putting a required outside outlet onto the pole, and that's what they're getting hooked up now.
You said you had a family member that worked for watch those where they're at. I'll kind of tell you.
Putting the door onto the electrical panel,
Open from the top or open from the side.
getting everything secured, finishing touches, putting the door on that outlet down below. Making sure everything works properly. And then finally putting the cover on the breaker box.
It's still like pool full of ice leaks water for the next 15 years. For some reason, the build rate bottle likes to.
Once this job is complete, they will have to turn the new permit back in to the office and get the inspector to come and inspect the pole before the electric can be hooked up. This is that gentleman. We had to wait over a month for him to come and inspect the pole. So he's taking the plate off, looking at all the wires, checking to make sure everything's hooked up correctly, and then he approves it. Thank God. So the next step is for the electric company to come out. And here they are. They surprised us and come the very next day, got everything hooked up. And I did not video here just because it took them like 10 minutes and they were in and out. But they disconnected the main wire here from the road, and then they hooked up the wires you see are braided just to the left. Those were attached to those 3 wires from the top and ran over to the transformer box. And this groundman here is checking all of the electrical to make sure everything is running. So we have our pole set, electric ran. Now we're just waiting on the shed. We'll see you in that video.